What if the moment everyone is replaying was never meant to be a moment at all, but simply two lives crossing paths under the unforgiving gaze of public attention? Airports are strange theaters. They are built for movement, for transitions, for people on their way to somewhere else. Yet in the modern world, they have also become stages where unscripted scenes unfold before a global audience. No director calls action. No script is handed out. And still, the drama finds its way in. If you are still watching, subscribe. Let's get the story started as the world of your favorite celebrity unfolds.
Stay tuned.
On that day, the terminal was alive with its usual rhythm. Rolling suitcases traced hurried lines across polished floors. Boarding calls echoed overhead. Travelers checked watches, passports, and screens. Everything felt ordinary, predictable, routine, until familiar faces appeared. First came the quiet ripple of recognition. A whisper here, a double take there. Then the subtle shift in energy that happens when people realize a public figure is nearby. Phones are lifted discreetly. Eyes follow movements more closely. Conversations pause mid-sentence. Wang, known for his commanding screen presence and rising international fame, stepped into the terminal carrying the calm composure of someone accustomed to attention. His stride was steady, his expression neutral but alert. He moved like a man who understands that in public spaces, even a casual step can become tomorrow's headline. Not far behind, or perhaps arriving from another direction depending on which witness tells the story, was Shen Yue. Soft-spoken in image, yet powerful in popularity, she carried her own quiet gravity. There is a familiarity to the way fans describe her presence. Gentle but unmistakable. Calm but impossible to ignore. Individually, either sighting would have excited fans. Together, they created a spark. It was not a grand entrance. Not a coordinated appearance. No waving to cameras side by side. Just proximity. Shared space. A timing that felt too precise for some and purely coincidental for others. And yet, in the world of celebrity culture, coincidence is often the birthplace of speculation. Someone recorded a clip. Then another. Within minutes, fragments of footage began their journey across the digital landscape. Short videos. Blurry angles. A few seconds each. But enough to ignite conversation. Enough to make hearts race among fans who have long associated their names together because of past collaborations and memorable on-screen chemistry. The phrase "caught on camera" began circulating, and with it came interpretations. Were they traveling together or simply on similar schedules? Did they arrive separately or coordinate quietly? Did they speak beyond what cameras captured? The truth is often smaller than the story built around it. Yet the story grows because people care. Fans who admired their previous work together felt a rush of nostalgia. Memories of fictional romances blur easily into hopes for real ones. When two actors create believable love on screen, audiences sometimes wish that magic could step off the set and into real life. But reality is quieter than drama. Those present at the airport described professionalism. No dramatic gestures. No visible display designed to attract attention. If anything, both appeared focused on moving through the space smoothly, guided by staff, mindful of the crowd. And perhaps that is what makes the moment powerful. It did not feel staged. It felt ordinary. Two successful young people navigating busy lives that sometimes intersect in the same places at the same time. Still, the human mind seeks meaning. A shared location becomes a shared journey in the eyes of hopeful fans. A similar flight time becomes a secret plan. A calm expression becomes hidden emotion depending on who is watching. There is also the reality of celebrity schedules. Major stars often travel through the same hubs, attend the same events, work with overlapping teams. Their worlds are smaller than the public imagines. Crossing paths is not extraordinary in their industry. But when cameras notice, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. What makes Wang and Shen Yue particularly compelling is their history. Their past project left a cultural imprint. Viewers invested emotionally. That emotional memory does not disappear when a drama ends. It lingers, waiting for real-world moments to attach itself to. Yet beneath the speculation are two individuals building careers. Long shooting days, international promotions, brand commitments, personal ambitions. Their lives are structured by contracts and calendars more than by romantic storylines. And still, one cannot deny the poetry of the scene. Two stars once paired in a story about young love. Years later, seen again in a place built for departures and arrivals. A setting symbolic of timing, distance, and possibility. It almost writes its own metaphor. Perhaps that is why fans feel shaken, excited, or deeply curious. Not because they saw proof of anything, but because they saw a possibility. And possibility is powerful fuel for imagination. As the day moved on, flights departed. Gates closed. Passengers disappeared into the sky. Wang and Shen Yue continued toward their destinations, whatever those may have been. Work likely awaited. Responsibilities certainly did. But behind them, a digital trail remained. Clips looping. Comments multiplying. The modern echo of a brief real-world encounter. Some fans celebrate. Some debate. Some gently remind others not to read too deeply into fleeting moments. All of them, in their own way, are responding to the same thing. The desire to feel connected to the stories of people they admire. Maybe the biggest revelation is not that they were in the same airport. Maybe it is how a few seconds can remind the world how deeply art and reality intertwine in the hearts of audiences. Because when people believe in a story, they continue looking for it even after the final episode airs. And somewhere between departures and arrivals, between fiction and reality, between memory and hope, the narrative lives on. Not confirmed. Not denied. Just observed. Like two travelers passing through the same terminal under the bright lights of a world that is always watching, always wondering, and always ready to turn a moment into a legend. And after the cameras lowered and the footsteps faded into separate boarding lines, the question remained suspended in the air like an unfinished sentence. Because the public rarely lets a story end where it actually ends. It continues it in imagination, in discussion, in the quiet space between what is seen and what is believed. In the hours that followed that airport sighting, the digital world did what it does best. It slowed time down. It replayed seconds as if they were scenes from a film. Every frame became material for interpretation. A turn of the head, the distance between them while walking, the timing of their check-in. Each detail examined like a clue in a mystery people were eager to solve. But airports do not preserve context. They only show fragments. A terminal is a crossroads, not a confession booth. It reveals who passes through, not why their paths align. Some witnesses said they arrived close in time, but not together. Others insisted the overlap was too precise to be random. A few claimed staff coordination, suggested awareness. Yet none of these accounts could fully capture the bigger picture of two demanding careers moving at high speed across cities and countries. This is the paradox of celebrity life. Visibility is constant, but understanding is limited. The public sees moments, not schedules. Glimpses, not planning. Appearances, not private conversations. For Wang, whose career has surged with global recognition, travel is less a choice and more a requirement. Promotions, filming, endorsements, appearances. Movement is part of the profession. The same is true for Shen Yue, whose steady presence in dramas and public campaigns keeps her on a similarly tight circuit. Their calendars likely resemble complex puzzles, filled months ahead. In such a world, crossing paths may be ordinary for them, even if it feels extraordinary to everyone else. Yet what gives this sighting emotional weight is history. The memory of characters they once portrayed. The emotional imprint those roles left on viewers. Audiences do not just watch stories. They carry them. They attach meaning to faces and voices. So when those faces appear in the same real-world frame again, it feels like a continuation of a beloved narrative. But real life does not follow drama scripts. It does not build toward a finale or a reveal. It moves in practical steps. Flights to catch. Meetings to attend. Lines to clear. Rest to steal between obligations. Still, there is something undeniably cinematic about the image people hold on to. Two stars once associated with a youthful love story, seen again in a place defined by timing and transition. An airport is a symbol in itself. It represents distance and reunion, endings and beginnings, separation and possibility. Perhaps that symbolism is what resonates so deeply. Not the proof of romance, but the poetry of coincidence. Meanwhile, industry insiders often view these moments differently. They see how small the professional world can be, how often artists share flights to the same cities for the same events, how management teams book similar routes, how security protocols sometimes group public figures for efficiency. From that perspective, proximity is logistics, not destiny. But fandom does not run on logistics. It runs on emotion. And emotion is what keeps stories alive long after facts settle. There is also a quieter truth rarely spoken. For celebrities, repeated speculation can be both flattering and heavy. Flattering because it reflects public investment. Heavy because it reduces complex lives into simple narratives. A person becomes part of a ship, a rumor, a headline, rather than a full individual with private thoughts and independent choices. Wang and Shen Yue, like many in their position, likely understand this balance well. Smile when appropriate. Stay composed. Reveal little. Let the wave pass. Because in their world, today's frenzy is tomorrow's forgotten topic. And the wave always passes. Soon another sighting will trend. Another pairing will capture attention. The spotlight shifts quickly in the age of endless content. What feels explosive today becomes a footnote next month. Yet for some fans, this moment will remain special. A memory, a what if, a small spark of excitement in ordinary days. And there is nothing wrong with that. Stories, even imagined ones, bring joy. They create community. They give people something to talk about and look forward to. Perhaps the healthiest way to see moments like these is as glimpses, not conclusions. As reminders that the people on screen also move through airports, follow schedules, and navigate public spaces just like anyone else, only with more eyes watching. If there is a final image to leave behind, it is not shock or scandal. It is a busy terminal under bright lights. Two familiar figures walking their own paths. A few seconds where those paths appear to align. Then movement forward, toward different gates, different flights, different destinations. No declarations. No denials. Just life unfolding in real time. And maybe that is more human and more meaningful than any dramatic reveal could ever be. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are not the ones confirmed or denied, but the ones that simply remind people how deeply they can still feel wonder over a passing moment.